Welcome to Buyside Hippies, and today we have with us a very cool entrepreneur, Joaquín Rodríguez. He's the CFO of Frankie the King, a Spanish dog food startup, which is backed by Lanai Partners, and they are doing some cool business in Spain. So I welcome you, Joaquín. How are you doing, man? How's your day going?
Hi, fine. Thanks for the invitation. Uh, it's fine. It's Saturday today, so resting day, but after a week of hard work at Frankie the King.
Right. So Frankie the
So
King is like doing some really cool work, in the Spanish dog food market. Can you please tell me about your product offering and what are you guys doing here? And
sure. So what we do, we mainly do, our main product is we sell fresh cooked food for dogs. Okay, so we only use natural ingredients. We use human quality ingredients. We also have some snacks and supplements, which are also natural. So our aim is to improve the health of our pets, basically. So we only use high quality products because our industry was using a lot of subproducts, the typical dry food, and we wanted to change that. So it all started with my co-founder Javier. He was looking for a new business opportunity after he left his previous project, which was an e-commerce.
okay,
And so together with other entrepreneurs in Spain, they found this business model in the United States, and it was working really good. They were growing very fast, you know.
yeah,
Um,
right,
so they decided to import this business model from the US, and well, we are addressing a big market. It's a 1 billion euro market only in Spain
yeah,
and 21 billion in Europe. So, and it is growing. The fact that the market didn't stop growing even with the big crisis in 2007 is like really cool.
nice. Nice. So I see that you guys have, as you mentioned, you saw a market in US and you sort of built that same model in Spain. So and you said it's like a $1 billion market here in your domestic country. So that is something that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So what is the pet market, like are dogs sort of like an integrated part of like sort of a European sort of a household, or is it just like very I would say inherent to the Spanish culture of having pets?
So Spain is more dog friendly than cat friendly market.
Okay.
So we started with the dogs. Also, the cats are more difficult. So it's a good country to start with dogs because there are more dogs than cats. In other countries in Europe, there are more cats than dogs. So Spain was a good market to start. Um, our product is a new category, because there used to be raw food and all the dry food, obviously, but there was no cooked food in the market. So we started that category. Now we have uh, new competitors. There are more companies doing this, but it was a new category. Our main advantage, if you compare us with the raw food, which is also a very natural and very healthy option, is that people do not eat raw food. So it's a bit more strange for consumers to give that to their pets. So the cooked food, it looks uh, so much like our food that it's something that creates a lot of confidence in the consumer. So it's something very easy to give it to our pets. And this opportunity is big because you have this trend of a healthy lifestyle, which is growing really, really fast. I mean, for humans. And there's another trend, which is that pets are not considered pets anymore, and they are a member of the family. Many couples don't have a son and they have a dog. So if you combine those two trends, there's a very big need for healthy products for our pets, and that's where we are. So the opportunity is big.
Very interesting. I also, since you mentioned that, you also sort of make these customizable food for your dog, like for the individual customer, like who comes to your platform, and then you sort of like assess the dog's sort of like diet and his age, and taking different considerations into like where he is in the cycle. And that's a very interesting way of like how you guys go about this, and you sort of created a market for yourself.
Yeah.
So Joaquin, like I also know you told me, I think before we started this podcast, that you actually started this at your garage in like home, and you started cooking with your co-founder, and then you sort of expanded. Now you're like a multi-million-dollar like business. But I just want to understand, what was the most difficult part of scaling up this venture from from being absolutely like new to the market and now running $1 million startup.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, and as you have mentioned, operations has been our biggest headache probably, because we were starting to sell a product that no one was doing. So if you do, I don't know, shoes maybe, it's easy to find someone who does the shoes for you, and you just have to sell them. But no one is doing what we do. So we had no chance of outsourcing it at the beginning. We had to start ourselves, but it was my co-founder started cooking at his home. But after a couple, as we had our first customers, that was it was impossible to cook for all of them. It was not a lot, but in a home is difficult to manage with big volumes. So, but at the same time, we couldn't afford to make the investments in machinery and some production stuff to do it ourselves. So we had to look for someone who could do it. So we found a catering who could do it for us. So they had their events or weddings and stuff on the weekends, and then during the week they would cook for us. But we've had a lot of problems. We grew faster than they could manage, because they were not used to do this. And we also have faced, for example, there was a very big snowstorm a couple of months ago in Spain, in Madrid, and every single box that you deliver through Spain goes through Madrid. So all of a sudden, we couldn't send anything out of out of Galicia, which is where we are. So those sort of problems that you don't face if you only do technology are the ones that can kill you anyway, but anytime. But we've managed quite well to go over all of this, and with the COVID and everything, and we are now alive, and we have our own production facilities now. So we are happy to have solved all these problems.
Got it. Joaquin, there's one thing I wondered, like when I saw your profile and I saw your journey, you were actually working in Deloitte in their finance division, and you were having a really nice cushy job. So what was the process like? Like how did you convince yourself to leave your your cushy monthly paycheck for an uncertain market which has not even been tested right now? What made you sort of make that switch to entrepreneurship and leave your job?
Well, I had always wanted to build something myself, but I didn't think that was my time to do it. I was planning to stay at Deloitte for some more years because I think it was an interesting job. I was learning a lot. I had a very good team around. I was very happy with my job. But then one day Javier called me, and because his wife used to be my boss at Deloitte, and he told me, "Hey, I have this project. Maybe you wanted to join?" And I said, "Okay, we can have a beer one day and you tell me about the project, but I'm not leaving Deloitte. That was my answer. I'm not leaving Deloitte.
Okay.
But after that day, we met again a second time. He started showing me the numbers, what was the project like, and what he wanted to do in the future with it. And I started thinking, okay, this is a one-time opportunity. Maybe I should get it. It's risky, but I can always go back to Deloitte. So why not? And I started talking to friends, to my family, and no one was saying, okay, you're crazy. Why would you do that? Everyone said, okay, if that's what you want to do. I only found one friend who told me, what are you doing? You're going to lose your career and stuff. And in that very same conversation, I was able to convince him that that was a good idea. So when we stopped speaking, I said, okay, if I can convince him it's a good idea, it's because I think it's a good idea. So then let's do it. That was it. It was tough, but I'm happy to have done it. Yeah.
Happy to have taken that leap. Nice, man. And it's an
Yeah.
interesting story how your co-founder's wife, who was your boss, actually convinced you to sort of leave the job you were working at and sort of
Yeah.
that pivot. It's a pretty cool story. Yeah. So
Yeah. But she knew I could work very well with Javier. He knew both of us. She knew both of us, so she knew we would make a good team, and she was right.
got it. Joaquin, I just want to understand now, like now you've raised like good amount of money from Lanai Partners. And initially, the market you were sort of entering was untested.
Yeah.
There was no sort of competitor or peer in the Spanish market. So how did you convince Lanai Partners to give you that seed money? What made them sort of like believe in you guys?
So I think what Lanai saw in our project, we've had a close relationship from the very beginning. They didn't back us at the very beginning, but now they've done it. The thing with them is that they trust our team. I mean, they are close to Javier, and they humble, and they know there's a big opportunity here. It's the market is big enough for us to grow. They've seen the business model working in other countries before, and they have close relationships with relevant people from our industry here in Spain, from one of the biggest retailers, from the biggest pet food. They speak to them. They know how the industry is working, and all this M&A activity that there is been these years. And so they know if we execute well, the chances of having a good exit are high.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Very interesting, Joaquin. So just I know you're a really busy guy. I'll just throw in my last question with you. Can you please tell me, like, if you have to summarize your whole entrepreneurship experience into your learnings, what will be your top 3 learnings coming out of your venture and your entrepreneurship experience?
I'm sorry, Sim, I lost you.
Um,
I
Joaquin, if
couldn't
you
hear that well.
No worries. I'll repeat my question. If you can share your top 3 learnings, coming out of your entrepreneurship experience, what would those be?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think the first and most important one for me, at least, it's learning to live with our uncertainty and being resilient. Because you are always facing problems. There's never a moment when you have everything under control. So whether you get used to it or you're gonna have some tough time, because I mean, if there are production problems. Another day is a big snowstorm. So there's always something on the table that you have to manage quickly and fast. So I think that's the first thing, the one that I think it's most important. Then the second one, and this is something that everyone will tell you, is to enjoy the journey. Because when you start a project like this, which is focused on the exit, you are looking for an exit in the end. If you only focus on that exit, you're gonna have some years of very hard work, and if the only thing you enjoy is the exit, those years are not gonna be good for you. So you need to choose something you can be passionate about, because you're gonna have to work hard and you have to enjoy those years as well. In the end, it's your life anyway. And the third one, and I think this is also important, and I've learned it during these 2 years, is that managing people is harder than it seems. We are still a small team of 15 people, but you always have to reach the expectations of everyone, which are not always aligned. But when you have a small team, you need them all to be motivated, and that is very difficult, and it's quite important to have them always on board.
Thanks a lot, Joaquin, for all these interesting insights, and thanks for sharing your journey with us. I'm sure there is someone out there who would see your journey and get inspired, and sort of like maybe take that leap of faith, leave his job, or like dive into this amazing market or entrepreneurship. So thanks again, man. It was really fun doing it with you, and best of luck for your venture, man.